Well, we've got to be on our best behaviour because the boss is here. Not Bruce Springsteen, Aaron Bennett, who this weekend is starring in a production of Scrooge, where he plays Jacob Marley, both dead and alive, an office worker, and the classic Charles Dickens character, Pat Butcher. How are you doing today?
I'm alright, thanks, Tobes, and I didn't think that Pat Butcher was around in the times of Charles Dickens, but she might have been.
Well, she might very well have been, looking at her. Now, remind me the role that Pat Butcher actually plays in A Christmas Carol, because I haven't read the book in a while.
Actually, she's only in the final 2 numbers, and she's also in the final scene, Dancing to Celebration.
Oh, by Kool and the Gang?
Yep,
Oh,
that will be
good.
the scene where Ebenezer Scrooge finds out from the ghost of Christmas past that he will be dead because he doesn't change his ways. If he doesn't change his ways, he'll be dead, basically.
Oh.
And he gets shown his gravestone and the gravestone of Tiny Tim. And at the beginning of the scene where we are seeing the ghost of Christmas future showing Scrooge his grave, there are most of the cast singing and dancing to Celebration.
Yeah, I see. They're happy that Scrooge is dead.
Well, yeah, I mean, he is a right miserable old git, isn't he?
Yeah, well, no spoilers, but by the end of it, I wouldn't say so.
No, by the end of it, it's quite good, actually.
So, whose idea was it to have Pat Butcher in the show?
Actually, it was my idea because I don't know about you, but most pantomimes you go and watch, they always have a panto dame, some bloke that's dressed up as a woman. And so I thought, right, we have to have a panto dame somewhere in this. So I thought, what could I do? And at first I was going to do Peggy Mitchell. And then I thought, no, actually, I know what I'll do. I'll do Pat. Because I thought about doing Dot Cotton, but I thought, well, I won't be able to get the look right. I'm not wrinkly enough to be Dot.
Especially these days, you'd have to look dead.
Well, yeah, and I haven't got the resources to get the prosthetics. You know, I could have got a mask, a latex mask made, but it would cost a fortune. And as well, it'd be hot. It'd be hot wearing it because it's right against your skin.
You actually wrote some of the scenes for this, didn't you?
Yeah, I wrote the entire scene between Jacob Marley and Ebenezer Scrooge.
Nice.
So, from where Scrooge comes home and after a hard day at work and telling the audience that he hates people and they probably hate him, he goes to his study or his living room or whatever you want to call it, and his housekeeper brings him some whiskey in a decanter. And he has a couple of those, falls asleep, and then she tries to steal it and gets quite a bad telling off. And I must admit, the guy who's playing Scrooge is fantastic. He's only, I think he's about 20, and he is absolutely brilliant. And it ends up with him saying, oh, you're dismissed for the night. And she's, oh, I'd like to go to that nice retirement home down the road, but you don't pay me enough. So once that happens, he goes to sleep, and that's when Jacob Marley appears. And Jacob Marley tries to tell him that if he doesn't change his ways, he's going to lose everything. He's going to end up in one of these horrible old people's homes, and yeah, you know, where he'll have his bum wiped for him and everything else, and he'll lose all his money and his friends. But of course, Scrooge takes absolutely no notice of it and goes back to sleep. And Jacob Marley sort of, he goes, and walks off the stage. But then he comes back again in scene, I think it's scene 6. Scene 6B, I think it is actually. Because it's after part A, the director, who is absolutely brilliant, and she's in it as well. We're going to have an interval. So we have the interval literally halfway through scene 6, which don't make sense to me, but never mind. And in the second part, Jacob Marley is alive, and he goes to Scrooge, and he basically says to Scrooge he's got a way he can cut the budget and make more money for himself and Scrooge. So they sign off this deal and he disappears. And that's the last time you see him.
Oh.
And that's the last time you see me in trousers in the show as well. Because I have to disappear and get changed.
Did you find it hard to write a scene and be funny?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have got some writing experience, but yeah, it was semi-difficult to do because I had to try and keep it in keeping with the way the play is, even though it's sort of like a crossover between the 1900s and the 1980s. It's very, very bizarre. It was quite hard to write the lines and try and work out what to say and to actually envision the actors saying it. I mean, like Walter, who's playing Scrooge, I had to imagine him saying, you know, I'm going to take 12 guineas from your pay. Oh, we've changed it now to pounds. 12 pounds from your pay for trying to steal. And, you know, to try to get it so it would sound right when I was writing it was really hard to do.
And you did the dress rehearsal yesterday, and we've seen the amazing pictures from it. And I know I said yesterday, and it sounded like a joke, that I didn't recognise you in the picture. But seriously, I was looking at that picture for a good few seconds going, oh, I guess Aaron's not in that picture.
And then you saw me in a bright, flowery blouse, and this pink flamingo skirt and a pair of high heels with a blonde wig on. It is quite funny to look at.
Yeah.
And it's on our Facebook. It's on the station's Facebook page.
And not forgetting the bottle of drink you have.
That isn't actually a real bottle. It is actually a confetti cannon.
What?
Yeah, we're going to use it in the final number. And basically all you do is you've got to unwrap it. Obviously, it's got the plastic wrapping still on it because I don't want anyone to use it until the actual night. But you take the wrapping off and you squeeze and twist the bottom and confetti goes flying everywhere. So we've got two of them, one for either side of the stage, and me and probably Walter will set them off during the final number of the show, when we get everybody on their feet, hopefully, singing and dancing. By the looks of it, it's going to be packed. I've already been told I've already got about 8 people coming my end, but I've just been told by somebody else who's coming that they wanted tickets because they've got another 10 people coming, and it's sort of like, this is really surreal now.
Yeah. And we should mention that Aaron here is not the only Shout Radio presenter who's involved in this production. No, I'm not talking about me. It's Matt Van who is doing the sound, so rest in peace, our ears.
He's doing the lights as well.
Oh.
So the spotlights, and when we're going to have sort of like flashing lights on the stage for during celebration and the final 2 tracks that we are singing to. We will have the flashing disco lights on, which will be quite good.
And we should mention as well that you don't have to pay actual money to get in. You just need to give a donation for, is it the food bank?
Yeah, for Amazing Grace Food Bank. Just bring a can of beans or a tin of rice pudding or anything, as long as it's not perishable, don't bring your mum's cabbage, for instance, because it'll probably go off by the time they get it and it'll end up in the bin. So, pasta, tins of beans, cereal, chocolate bars.
I'll give you the soup that's been in the cupboard since 1998.
Yeah, well, as long as it hasn't been in here that long, but yeah. And that was it. I mean, where I've been ill for the last month, I could have done with a tin of soup. I looked in my cupboards and I don't even have any.
What?
I know, I thought, cool, chicken soup to the rescue. Everybody has chicken soup when they got flu.
And I guess if you're going to bring some food, maybe make it a bit diverse or a bit different, because surely everyone's going to bring pasta or beans, aren't they?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you've got something more interesting, like, I don't know, fruit cocktail or tins of tuna or something like that. I know I definitely haven't got tuna because Peppy's had most of it.
Yeah.
If you've got something a bit more unusual, bring it in. And
we should mention as well that via the magic of radio, you'll still be doing your show this Sunday.
Exactly. Don't worry, nobody has put me on the photocopier and duplicated me. I'm going to record the show probably on Thursday I will probably be recording it.
Oh,
Because this week's a bit manic with everything else going on. You know, we've got to fit station stuff in. I visit an elderly chap in... Well, he's not really elderly. He's only 62. But he's got terminal cancer, and I go and visit him in the care home twice a week. So I've got to go and see him. And then I've got Christmas shopping to do yet. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, I just don't know what to get people.
Same. Yeah.
But... I'll manage. I'll probably think of something. At least Peppy's easy. Treats.
Yeah.
Treats and more treats.
Well, she doesn't even know it's Christmas, does she? She's a cat.
I think she does know. I think she knows what the Christmas tree is. She certainly knows not to try and climb up it. She has been told off twice now for climbing up the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
But a little known fact for our cat-loving listeners, if your Christmas lights twinkle or chase, put them on chase or twinkle, because cats don't like the flashing light and so they stay away. So Peppy has stayed away from the Christmas tree since we've had it on chasing.
And speaking of Peppy, the last time we spoke, back at the Jubilee, you said that you thought your cat was pregnant. Now, I take it that hasn't happened, otherwise we'd have seen the photos.
Yeah, it was a fake pregnancy.
Oh.
Which happens... In fact, the proper terminology is phantom pregnancy.
Yeah.
She was having us on. Put it that way.
Yeah, she's just trying to get attention.
I'm going to be a mummy, and I want all this fuss and extra attention.
I know a lot of people like that.
Well, yeah, me too, unfortunately. But, I mean, regardless, it was impossible for her to get pregnant because she never leaves the house.
Yeah.
She never ever
know.
goes... Excuse me. She never ever leaves the flat, so... How could she get pregnant? Unless she let one of her boyfriends in, which, to be honest, isn't possible.
I've heard it happen.
What, for cats to walk down the corridor, open the front door, open the back door, and let their cat friends in?
Yep, when you're asleep.
Well, I suppose it is possible.
Although my mum's cat had 5 kittens a few weeks ago.
And where's the kitten pictures?
I put them on Facebook, and you said one of them looks a bit like Peppy, which I think it kind of does.
I remember, yeah. Yeah, I remember now.
I don't know what's happening with them. I don't know when she's taking them down the canal.
Oh, now that's cruel. That's really cruel. But I mean, she'll probably make quite a bit out of, rehoming them when she sells them on rehoming.
Apparently there's a lot of money in it, because you'd pay like £50 at least for a usual cat. So for a kitten, you're going to be loaded when you sell them.
Well, yeah, especially if she's got 5 of them.
True.
Maybe about 400 quid, something like that.
Yeah, at least.
Oh, and they're so cute when they're kittens.
Yeah.
I remember years ago when I was in care, we had a cat that got pregnant, and it had all these little tabby babies, and I don't know why they were all tabby when the cat was black, but anyway, they were so much fun. They kept trying to go upstairs in my bedroom. They'd managed to sort of like hop halfway up the stairs. They were on their way to my room trying to get up there, and it was like, no, you can't come down here, up here, go back down. And because our stairs were in the kitchen, there wasn't really any way to block the stairs off.
Yeah.
Which is a pain in the neck. So all you had to do was just keep an eye on these kittens that kept trying to come up the stairs when you weren't looking.
Now, next week, you're going to be busy still, because you will be hosting the Shout Radio Christmas Eve show, whatever it's called, from 10
Christmas
till
Countdown,
3.
yeah.
Yeah, Christmas Countdown, 10 till 3 in the morning. And then you'll be doing the same slot on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I am.
Are you ever going to rest?
Yeah, I'll manage to rest. I mean, probably not on Christmas Day, because there's just far too much going on. But yeah, I will. I mean, as long as I've got me energy drinks. Yeah, whenever I need a boost of energy, when I'm doing something like the show or like on Christmas Day, I'll have one of my energy drinks to keep me going. And especially, the last few Sundays when we've been at rehearsals, my legs just usually want to give up after about an hour of standing up. But the energy drinks, they really do help me.
Yeah, well, you can hear Aaron Bennett do the Christmas Eve countdown next Saturday, which is Christmas Eve, from 10 p.m, and he'll also be starring in Scrooge at the Light Lounge in Blackpool this Sunday at 5 p.m.
Yep, and that is on Whitegate Drive at the Centre for Independent Living. The Light Lounge is sort of like a building bolted onto the side of it.
And just to confirm as well, can you just show up and give your beans, or do you have to go online first?
No, just show up, bring your can of beans.
Excellent.
I'm gonna literally fill my bag on wheels. It's already full because it's got all my costumes in it, and it's got my wigs in it and everything that I need, and wig net and all of that. So I'm going to fill it even more.
Well, you've had that bag of stuff for years, haven't you?
No, actually, I got the wig given to me on Sunday.
All right.
By Walter, who's playing Scrooge. I think he's very Amdram, and I think he's done Amdram in the past, and that's why he's got all these wigs. But he said I can have the blonde one, and it was like, oh, thanks.
Many thanks for joining us, and have a very Merry Christmas, and break a leg and all that.
Yep, thank you very much, and have a Merry Christmas too.